It's the Southern Senpais Show, where small-town Southerners explore big-time Japanese entertainment, anime, manga, and everything in between. Here's your hosts, Nicholas and DJ.
What's going on, y'all? It's Southern Senpais, two Southern guys who explore Japanese culture. My name is Nicholas.
I'm DJ.
And what are we talking about today, DJ?
Today we're reviewing Castlevania Nocturne. This first season.
Yes, this first season.
It's on Netflix.
Netflix is really putting out some quality Netflix here and there.
You know,
quality anime.
They put out one or two good ones, so that way they can sell all the bad ones.
So it's not a bad business model.
It's not a bad one, right? Because everyone's like, "Oh, I gotta watch this because it's a possibility it could be good." Because when it is good, it's really good.
Now, let me ask you a question, DJ. What did you like better? Did you like Castlevania or did you like Castlevania Nocturne better?
That's a hard question to ask, mainly because Nocturne is not over. I mean, with Castlevania, you have like 4 seasons to really like
true.
These characters.
So maybe
and
it's
stuff
not
like that.
fair to try and compare the two.
No, but I will say that I will compare it to Avatar: Last Airbender, because Avatar was really great, and then the successor Korra had a really great first season. Not really great, but it was good. It was
in line with.
Right, it was a good first season. Like it really was. Like that first season of Korra with the non-benders and versus benders, and that was kind of dope. Right, and then
it just kind of fell off a cliff.
So, and so I really hope that doesn't happen with Nocturne here, because I like the first season, and the second half is way better than the first half. But,
yeah.
If I had to compare the two as successors, I would say Nocturne did a way better job of being a successor than Korra did, just because it feels like it's getting better. That's the crazy part about it. You know what's really messed up? You could be at the top of your game. A material. Grade A triple S score. Grade A beef over here. Then you make a successor. And if the first season of the successor is just like, instead of being triple A, it's like double A, people are like, oh, it sucks. It's terrible. Right. But then if you create something that's triple A, if you keep something that's like double A material, and then the sequel is also double A, it's like, oh, wow. It's a masterpiece.
It's a great continuation.
This one had a weird avenue. It was like, all right, the last one was AAA material. We're going to start off on the season going A level and then end on a AAA. And it's like, okay, you maybe lose faith on purpose and then come back, because now I feel like, oh, now I'm really rooting for it because it's getting better.
Right. The first couple of episodes were kind of like, I'll give this a bit of some grace, right? Because it's not terrible, but it's also not great.
Yeah, I think that, was this one that someone had asked us to watch? I think it was.
Yeah, somebody was like, well, if you like Castlevania, we got a DM that said, if you like Castlevania Nocturne just came out, so check that out.
Now, we usually do Japanese stuff, and this is not Japanese.
But it is anime. So, suck it.
Because other people working on it have names like Elektra Johnson. Was it Elarica Johnson? And I have no idea who this person is, but they have a strong last name.
Right. Your last name.
Right.
That's why you like it.
Hey, Electra, or whatever is how you pronounce this. Like, hit me up. Like, let me put me on.
Elarica Johnson.
Elarica Johnson.
But
I don't even know what she does in this, by the way. That's one thing I will say about Castlevania and Castlevania Nocturne. In their credits, they just start showing names. They're never like, oh, this person like voiced this character. You know, with credits, they have like what they did next to it, right? There's like, yo, you know who it is? It's Elektra Johnson. Everyone knows Elektra. You don't know Elektra? Electra's awesome.
Bro, but I mean, so the anime starts out and Richter Belmont is the next guy.
Well,
right?
hold on. It's been 300 years since Trevor and Cypher.
Right.
Right.
So, but in this iteration, Richter is the next Belmont.
Yes.
And I think the crazy part about it is so what's his name? The Native American vampire, Aluxor?
Ulrax.
Ulrax?
He's Aztec.
He's Aztec?
He's an Aztec vampire, yeah.
So,
which I guess is still technically Native American.
Right. But, so the crazy part is his mom...
Richter's
mom gets brutally murdered by Ulrax.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler warning, I guess, but this is like the first episode. Also, the rest of it's going to be spoiled anyway. This is a review. So.
Right. So if you didn't... I mean, come on, man. You already know what the deal is.
This is like episode, what, 1.5 billion by now?
But the crazy part is, later in the anime, they have to work together.
Yeah. That, I feel like there's a little bit of this that was predictable. I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't expect him to do that. What I did expect to happen was that Richter would eventually use blue fire. And the only reason I say that, because there's this huge color scheme going on with this guy. Everything this man's dripped out in blue like he's a Crip.
Right.
All the time.
Right. All the time. I mean, he was eventually going to get powers.
Right. And it's like, because he's a Belmont, it's like, it's not, because his mother was using magic too.
Right.
And as a kid, he started off using magic, but then it's like he could use magic later. What do you think he is? How do you compare him to Trevor? Which Belmont do you like better?
Oh, definitely Trevor.
Do you think it's because you had more time with him, or do you think that the character's just better?
I think the character's just better.
Yeah.
I think that Richter's a bit of a bitch.
He does cry. He does cry several times in this.
Well, I don't think it's because he cries. It's just a lot of it just, it's not great character development. Like,
yeah.
It's...
I think that also, it kind of, part of the issue is that the world is super dark. Castlevania is being super dark. There's vampires, and there's night creatures, and da-da-da-da. Trevor Belmont had his whole family destroyed in front of him. Lost his house, his home, everything, and became a drunk. And then when he had to face up against some of the monsters that were killed, like some of the vampires. Well, I mean, it wasn't Dracula exactly who murdered his parents, right?
Right.
But when he had to come up against those monsters, right, that destroyed his home and his life and stuff like that, didn't bat an eye. He was drunk at the time, but like he was like, life sucks. That's the way it is. Take it on chin like a true Belmont. And then I'm going to go have sex with this witch girl.
Bro, and then he meets his grandfather, and his grandfather's like...
Richter, yeah.
I told her. She told you to come find me, didn't you? He's like, what are you talking about?
Well, you got to explain who you're talking about, dude.
So, Richter's grandfather, what's his name?
Something. Basically, Richter is like an adult at this point. So his mom dies. Richter fast forwards to he's an adult. He lives with his aunt and his cousin, who are also Belmonts, but they're like distant Belmonts.
Maria and her mom.
Tara.
Yeah. Maria and Tara.
The only reason I remember it being Tara is because I'm like, there's always...
Because of Teen Titans, huh?
There's always so... I swear, ever since that show...
Because of Teen Titans.
There's always a Tara. I have never heard of that name prior to Teen Titans. And then after Teen Titans, everyone's named Tara. Everyone in their goldfish is named Tara for some reason.
But, so he meets his grandfather by chance, right? And dude sends him over a plate, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, whenever somebody does that, you'd want to go over there and talk to him. And he was like, so what's up? And he was like, I want you to get away. Like,
right.
I gave you a meal, but fuck out my face.
Which is like, also, why did you do that if you want him to leave? But then, find out that there's a vampire that comes in who's drunk. Not drunk, but like, he's like, oh, you said you'd kill me next time you see me, old man. And then that's exactly what he does. He like whips his head off. I have to get me one of them. I this whip is insane. And you think that you'd be using the Morning Star? Because that was like the whip in the last one, the upgraded one, but I guess not.
No. Well, and the thing is like, the crazy part is once he meets his grandfather at the very end of the season, I thought that was his grandfather because if you notice, like, they start talking and he says he lost his powers. Right? That's how that's because when he meets him, he's like, hey, listen, you shouldn't take money for vampire killings.
Right? That's not the Belmont way. You're supposed to just kill them because they're evil.
Just because they're evil, and you shouldn't hide away. Right? And he's like, well, my wife and daughter were killed by this chief vampire.
Right.
So that kind of, put a damper on things. And I lost all of my powers.
Apparently, that's how it works. So, if they're too much of a pussy, they lose their magic abilities.
And then that's how Richter gained his powers, right?
Yeah, he gained his powers back because he just decided, like, oh, I guess I'm not going to be a pussy anymore. I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not.
We're really not.
He's like kneeling down and seeing some other vampire.
He's got nothing.
And then he goes, you know what? I want to live.
Then he gets powers.
Yeah.
Do me a favor.
Super Saiyan.
Let me ask you a question. Doesn't the whip kind of look like a cigar? Like the beginning of the whip,
like the handle of it.
Yeah, and it's got the gold. Doesn't it look like a cigar?
It does look like a cigar. Okay, so you're right. So if the whip's a cigar, what kind of cigar do you think it is?
It's a Monte Cristo.
You think?
A Cuban. It's a vampire killing cigar, man.
Yeah. It also is weird to hear them talk about. So it takes place in France,
right?
By the way, and it's weird to hear them talk about like America. There is a certain section of America that, first of all, this is back in the day America, so they have like African slaves and stuff like that.
Right.
And there's slavery. This is storyline of slavery in there. But Nicholas.
Yeah.
Would you like to inform us which part of America this is?
So this is probably in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah? And really? The slave masters live in New Orleans. The vampire slave masters. What made you say that?
Well, they have this symbol on their hand that they use called a fleur de lis.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And a fleur de lis is French, and it's also the saint symbol.
Ah.
So that's kind of how I figured, they might be in New Orleans.
Because they said it's in America, and they had this. To be fair, these brands they were using, usually when they branded slaves, you just brand them.
Right.
They're slaves. You just do it anywhere. I guess her, like, this is black chick who's like a runaway slave in it. And she has like her own, she's like descended from a god. So, spoiler alert, there are gods now outside of who apparently have gotten jiggy with a lot of the mortals.
Also, let's not forget, dude, the best part about this show is the character design.
Oh, yeah,
much less the monster design. Yeah. Because me and you were both saying, bro, look at this designs for these monsters. Whenever she becomes Semet, or what's the warrior gun? The Semet, she turns into a lion?
Yeah, there's a vampire messiah. There's and it's weird because they're partnering up with the church. And man, I knew Tara and the abbot. I knew that the abbot was Tara's daughter, Maria's father.
Because they were all blonde.
I don't know why they thought that would be a twist. The only two blonde people in the entire show have a blonde child. Who's her dad? I don't know. Maybe the only other blonde guy in the entire series. Maybe it's that guy. Oh, what a twist. Oh, what a twist. Genetics.
The guy that was his secondhand man, he's like, he has no child. And the god is like, men lead by their balls. What do you mean? Of course.
Not only that, I'm like, I hate to beat a dead horse, but you've seen this person. She looks exactly like you.
And her.
Right. They're all blonde haired and blue eyed, and this is apparently back in the day France.
Dude, how wild is it that this man is so demented that he takes one of the stories in the Bible and he's like, well, I have to sacrifice my kid.
Right, he's tried to kill his daughter, Maria.
Right, and then at the end, the mom's like, she puts a ram. There's a ram that gets sacrificed at the end, not the kid.
Yeah, and then she ends up being the ram herself.
Yeah, he was like, because he's sitting there saying God, please don't don't leave me. Like, I really need help here. Like,
don't let me kill my own daughter.
Right.
And he was like, oh, why didn't God send a ram for me, just like you said for Isaac? Because, I was going to stab her for them. And ironically, there is a ram.
Right. And she was like, I'm the ram.
Right.
But, dude, that's crazy, though.
Oh, my gosh. This series is really good.
The fight scenes in this series...
Dude, I will say this. I like Richter's style of fighting because Trevor, he does a lot with the whip. He's very acrobatic, kind of,
right.
Especially for a guy who's clearly like 45 at least. But Richter, he's like a lot younger. He's like, you know what? Hey, for real though, fuck this whip shit. I'd rather just box. Right. He like doesn't use his whip several times. He puts down the whip. He's like, nah, I just rather just cover my hands with ice.
When he gets his powers, he starts boxing.
Right. He's like, oh, now that I have powers, I'm just gonna start fighting with my hands.
I'm just gonna do some Dragon Ball Z shit and just fucking blow their heads off.
It's crazy to see how a Belmont would use powers because the other speakers, like they kind of like are doing stuff like Cypher was doing, right?
Right.
Except for Maria, who summons animals. I have no idea what's going on with that.
The summon animals part is you can only do that in anime because that wouldn't work in real life.
Oh, but the fire would. Fire out the hands.
Yeah, that would so work in real life.
Oh, I'll tell you what really works in real life. You can do a whip. A whip.
Bruh.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Seeing Richter actually really uses, like, Trevor uses the whip in like a way that, it's like a weapon.
Right.
Richter does not. Richter's like.
Richter uses that whip like it's his hand.
Richter uses that whip like a dad uses a belt when a kid cusses out his mom. Like, this man is... There's a scene when they're underground trying to rescue one of their friends, and a monster is literally kneeling down, taking a break. You see all the whip marks on him, and Richter's like, yeah, I kill fucking vampires. What's up? What's on? He's like, please.
He's like, bro.
Please.
And
I was feeling bad for the monster. Oh, my gosh, he's getting... Damn, bro, I can feel that, man. Jesus.
But and then there's the fight scene with the lead vampire lady, not the one that's the god, but it's the lead vampire lady.
Right.
And he is
the one who looks like Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, he is whipping the shit out of this girl,
bro.
To where I'm just like, hey man, what are y'all doing? Like, some people are gonna say this is racist.
Oh,
like,
yeah, the lead vampire girl, she's black.
And this man is just watch out.
I was like, damn.
This man gets her so bad he whips her right in the forehead, splits her head open.
Oh my god!
And we're just like, bro,
like, you could have killed her by now, but it's like, nah, this is a lot more fun. This man's whipping the shit out of these people.
Dude, I was just like, yo. But overall, I mean, I think the fight scenes are just absolutely incredible.
What's crazy is that the fight scenes are really good throughout it, but like we said earlier, it starts off not as good and then it gets really good. Mm-hmm. Not that the beginning is bad, because it's not.
No.
But, it just gets way better on, and you can kind of feel has been some sort of shift, possibly in the people who work there, because like halfway through, the designs go from like AA, designs go from like A level to like AAA. And so does the story. Right. And so does the action. And you're like, I feel like they just let random people work on this first part. And then they brought in like the real people that do it on the second part.
Dude, I was like, because when I was watching, I was like, this is all right. Because I myself am not an anime snob. Like I've said multiple times, DJ is an anime snob. I watch something for what it is, not what it could be. And DJ watches it for what it could be and not what it is.
Well, we're watching Bastard next, so we'll see about that.
It's hilarious.
I do think Bastard's pretty funny.
But no, overall, what would you give this? What would you give this anime? 1 to 10. Mr. Snob.
Out of 10, I give this first season a solid 7.
A solid 7?
Yeah, mainly because like it started off kind of on a low, but it ended really good, and I feel like it's gonna have a really great. Well, first, the ending, saying a la carte at the end.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to because I had seen it before you did, so I didn't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah.
Who did you initially think was that person?
I thought it was a grandfather too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, his grandfather's coming back, but it's Alucard. And I was like, because I was thinking in my head, I was like, dude, I've played a lot of the Castlevania games, and I think I remember Alucard. I was a kid, but I was like, I'm pretty sure Alucard was in the video game with Richter, but I guess I was wrong. And then he shows up at the end, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but
and apparently they don't know who Dracula is. Like in the
at the very end, they're like, "Who's Dracula?"
And I'm like, "Bro, are you serious? You don't know who Dracula is?" The world almost. I'm like, whatever, because the speakers are supposed to pass down knowledge. They've been fucking up. Apparently they've been fucking up because they don't know who Dracula is.
No, apparently they're messing up because it's like the guy's like the son of Dracula, and the girl's like, "Who's Dracula?" You're like,
Dracula?
"What?
What?
How do you not know who Dracula is?"
I'm gonna chalk this up to you being a slave and not being educated.
Right. And then the thing is you see the vampires. They're like, he's like, "Listen, if you kill me, or if you try and fight me, you will die like the thousands of vampires I've fought." Now, mind you, he's floating, and his sword is floating.
Right, and I love how all the other vampires just look at each other like, "Yeah, we're gonna leave.
Yeah.
We're just gonna. I'm out. You got it, bro.
You got it, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you."
Right.
But yeah, dude, she blotted out the entire sun for the anime. Like that's hardcore. This queen vampire, she's like, "Oh, I'm the new messiah," and she's like, "I'm the vampire's messiah. I'm not the human messiah. I'm the vampire messiah." And the Alcrox was the most powerful vampire we had seen at the time. He can turn into this dragon thing, right?
And it's the one that killed Richter's mom. But then she's like, "No, I'm way more powerful than you," and he's like, I don't really bow to anyone. Then this woman does a Rasengan that blocks out the sun, and he's like, "You got it.
You got it, man. You got it."
That's basically what happened. Like the whole last 3 episodes, just everyone that you know is super powerful. Someone else more powerful shows up, and they're all just go, "You got it."
Do you think the vampire messiah, or what she calls herself? This is a question that I have.
She actually says that she's a god.
Right. She says that she's a god, right? Because she has the blood of Semet in her. Now, what I would ask you, because this is the question that I would have, or I'm going to pose to you, is whenever she was by that pool and then she turned into that lion thing, do you think that was just the goddess inhabiting the body? Or do you think that it was just the vampire queen ascending to a more powerful form like Dragon Ball Z and Super Saiyan?
Yeah, I think it was she was ascending, and it was interesting because she's referencing so we said Semet. This is
Egyptian mythology,
and I mean,
she's like, I'm going to get Ra to worship
white.
me.
She's like ivory, and there's black vampires, which I guess isn't really a big of a deal. But what makes me confused is that she's Russian.
Yeah.
And yet she's the Semet. There's also God. This is what's confusing to me. So, I mean, and I guess I don't know why. Okay, so heaven and hell in this series is obviously real because you have vampires and night creatures who are from hell and da da da.
Right.
Right. So then, it's like, okay, Christian lore is confirmed. Okay, but then what about Semet and these other
and Ra
gods? And Ra, right? And whatever god that the black chick is a descendant from. I'm like, okay, so there are other
gods. And those
gods.
are African gods.
And those are African gods, right. There are other gods. Well, you know what? To be fair, Yahweh, the Christian god, is an African god.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know. Because you have multiple systems of gods, because remember, whenever Richter runs away, she was like, "That fucking bitch, he just ran away."
Right.
And the mom, because she performs that ceremony and
that's definitely not from Black Panther.
Right. She performs...
Definitely not ripping off Black Panther.
And she was like, yeah, everybody runs away. She was like, you're not seriously equating this white man running away from a fight to slaves running away for their freedom.
And I love how her mom was like, kind of. I mean, you ran away from your master because you were afraid of him, and then you only recently killed him. And I'm like, damn, Mom. Why you gotta hit her with the truth like that, bro?
Bruh. And then but she was like, she's so powerful. She was like, yeah, but you're powerful too. You're just not listening to your ancestors.
Yeah.
I was like,
Black Panther. I don't know why they did that. It was like they saw Black Panther, and it was like they decided because in the video game she's Caucasian,
right?
Although ironically she's still a slave in the.
That's the crazy part that you were telling me when we first started watching this. You were like, this chick is white in the
video game.
The video games.
Right.
And you were telling me a lot of people were mad that she was black, and everybody was like, I mean, it's not that big of a character.
Right.
Which it is, though. Like, it's a huge character.
Yeah, but she's not the main... Like it would be way different if they just...
DJ's like, you still got the white man leading everything. Like, come on.
Like, okay, let's be real here, all right? All the main leads are still the same people. Like,
DJ's like, let me have one, okay?
And I also... and she was also... I'm pretty sure she was still a slave in the games. So, I think they just did that to modernize it, because, to be fair, the games are made about these Caucasian European people.
Right.
But the video game is Japanese. Let's get it all out in the open here. It's a Japanese video game that's made about some... Really, I think just because... And I don't know if you know this, but in Japan, Christianity is not the number one religion, right?
It's Buddhism, right?
Yes. Yeah, they have Zen Buddhism, right? So... I forgot who it was, but they did like this study on question, like, oh, why do so many animes have so many Christian, mythology to it, and why do a lot of Japanese and Asian artists draw a whole bunch of Christianity, or they convert to Christianity? It turns out they just think the designs are cool, man. Did you know that? They just
no,
think
I
the
did not.
Designs are cool. It's like how a whole bunch of Americans love to use Greek mythology and all of their video games and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's the same for them. Like, they're like, oh, I just use Christmas mythology because it's cool. Not because I believe in this, because it's cool, man. And so that's
that's
because
so
I
crazy.
believe in Jesus. I think it's just cool, So
sprinkle some Jesus in there,
right?
Sprinkle.
We need some art for this. Hey, man, you see that? See those two sticks in a cross over there? Oh, bro, I heard about that. That's cool,
bro. Speaking of crosses, whenever she trapped her master.
Oh, the black chick, yeah.
The black chick trapped her former master, and this man did not flinch. He was just like, yeah, you really think you can beat me? You really think?
And she's like, well, first of all, you're scared of crosses, and I have you in a cage made of crosses, and you can't get out, and the sun is rising, and you're about to die. He goes, well, you're a slave. No, I'm not.
It is the natural order of things. This man just delusion towards the end.
Right. He was like, well, you're still a slave and I'm still a master and the Vampire Queen is going to... And she's like, it's just like a little confusion on her face where she's just like, you're going to die. Like, do you not understand what's happening right now? Like, you cannot get out of this cage. I am killing you. And all you talk about is how you're the master. You're not the master.
You about to die.
Right. That's why I branded you, because you're a slave.
You have a brand on your forehead.
Right. And it's like, bro, you could have just turned into he has a brand on his forehead.
Right.
That's what she's like, you might have branded me. You were branded by some other crazy bitch. You have a brand on your forehead. Mine is on my hand. And he's like, well, it's because she's the Messiah, and she's going to...
You have no idea of her greatness.
Bro, I'm like, she's not gonna bang you, bro. Chill out with that. She's not gonna let you hit, bro.
That's like every girl. That's like every guy defending Amber Heard. It's like, bro, she's not gonna have sex with you.
She's not gonna. No, Amber Heard's not gonna walk in and be like, oh my gosh, I heard you were defending me on Twitter.
Let me blow you right now.
Right. Right. Oh, I heard. Super Halo fan 4825. I heard what you said on Twitter.
Dude, that's like we were at your friend's place, and he said some shit, and I was like, hey man, Amber Heard's not gonna fuck you, man.
Yeah, like, it was one of my friend's roommates, and he was like, well, you don't really know what happened with Amber. And I'm like, yes, we do.
Right. Multiple tapes of it.
Yeah, and she admits to it in court.
And she had to go live somewhere else. She lives in like Italy or somewhere.
Yeah. crazy. So I think that Nocturne, but I think Nocturne is a pretty good successor so far. I think what it's really missing from the Alucard, I'm pretty sure like it's getting better. So I'm really excited to see the second season.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
If Netflix does cancel this series, I'm gonna draw a line. It's gonna be a line for me. I'll cancel my subscription. I'm like, bro, I'm tired of you canceling all the good shows that we like, so because you're trying to push these bad ones down our throats. Like, no, I want to watch the good stuff. Stop making bad stuff. You know, but I think Nocturne's doing pretty good. What would you rank it out of 10?
I would rank it. I'd probably rank it like a 7.5. You know, maybe an 8. What
is it like? Like if this was not a, because it's not a spinoff exactly. It's more like a sequel, right? So, but if this was like, if it was titled like Castlevania Season 5, where would it be then?
This probably be like a 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like on its own, it has its own like little ranking. Like
it would be a lot higher if the episodes at the beginning were a lot better. Now I'll give you the first episode, right? Even though the first episode is supposed to be the most important.
Catch me or you lose me the first episode. That's supposed to be the best one.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be the one that's make me interested, and you're like, this is gonna be my laziest writing. Why? And why are you right? Because I watched the rest of the episodes. That's what really makes me mad.
But yeah, no, it got really good towards the end, I think. But I think it got really good too late.
Yeah. For people out there listening, when would you say that the episode it gets good? Because it has like, I'm checking right now. Let me see how many episodes it has. 8 episodes.
I would say around season 5 or 6.
The episode 5 or 6?
I mean episode 5 or 6. And probably episode 5.
Gazed into the future like That's So Raven. I was like, whoa! Season 5 about to be crazy.
Yeah, I think, maybe 5 or 6 is when it started to get like really good.
What do you think? Like Richter.
What do you think? What episode do you think?
I would have to say 5 too. I'm not gonna lie. 5, it starts to really pop off. Like the first 1 and 2 really feel like one episode. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
It feels like one episode that got split in half, and then they made 3 and 4, and then they fired all of those people. I mean, they had to. There's a guy called Edward who is like this black guy that sings, and his first time singing in like episode 3, he is terrible. He is, and the scene goes on for a long time. Everyone listening to me now, listen to my voice. Imagine me singing. Okay, that's what that guy sounds like.
We thought it was like some sort of joke, or maybe he has so much trauma, so which is why
like he was cry singing or something. Yeah.
Right. But no, after this one time, Edward sings amazing.
His voice isn't even the same after this. Guaranteed that previous guy got fired. That's why I'm like, I think everyone who worked on the first couple of episodes must have been like, I don't know, like the executives' kids who just wanted to try out something to be part of Famous Something. Then they hired real actual artists and singers for the rest of it.
Because even when the African girl goes down there to save Edward, he's like, my voice is so pure and so great that it's light in the darkness of these creatures I can't leave just yet. That's how good this dude is.
Yeah, and then at first we were like, no, it's not. I've heard it. And then he opens his mouth and he sings something. I was like, oh.
Wow.
I'll do that. That's a flex. But, yeah, guys, this has been Southern Senpais. So, my final verdict is 7. You got to give it something. Is it 7.5 or is it?
Yeah, 7.5.
7.5. Do you think it's going to get, how many seasons do you think it's going to get?
I think it might get another season. Netflix is pretty famous for, canceling animes after 2 seasons.
All right, cool. Well, we think it's going to get another season. 7 and 7.5 is the verdict, so I guess an average of like 7.3. I guess we're not math people.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why.
But anyway, this has been Southern Senpais. My name is Nicholas.
I'm DJ.
We'll see y'all later.
See ya.
This has been Southern Senpais on Comic-Con Radio. Check out our previous episodes at ComicConRadio.com. You can follow the show at Southern Senpais on all major social media platforms. Tune in next Wednesday for a fresh episode. Y'all come back now. You hear?